Hello and welcome to KMTV, your roundup of what's going on in Kent on Thursday, July the 9th. A young Kent mum says she was left in tears after her baby daughter's birthmark was airbrushed out of a photo without her permission. Graham Stothard reports.
Bright blue eyes and big blonde curls. At 18 months, Lexi is dangerously cute. As for her birthmark, that only adds to her charm. Not too long ago, her parents took her to have her photo taken in vintage clothing. But when they picked up the image, they were appalled to find that the birthmark had been airbrushed out.
At the end of the day, that's part of Lexi's, and any photo that she hasn't got a strawberry mark, to us, it's not Lexi because she's always had it. So the fact that they airbrushed her strawberry mark out without asking us was just completely wrong.
Domingo Portrait Services, the company that took the picture while set up in the Forum shopping centre in Sittingbourne, said they thought the mark was a cut, but it's actually caused by a gathering of blood vessels near to the surface of the skin. According to Lexi's parents, Domingo didn't apologise and at first refused to send them the originals. Unfortunately, incidents like this aren't uncommon.
I've had a drunk guy before in town say to me, "Oh, what the hell's that on her face?" And obviously I was like, "It's a birthmark," and he said that you should be ashamed. If that was his daughter, he'd have it cut off.
Although the mark will probably disappear as she grows, for her parents, it's just another thing that makes Lexi, Lexi. This is Graham Stothard, KMTV, in Sittingbourne.
Kent could need the equivalent of 10 new secondary schools in the next 3 years, according to Education Chiefs. Jem Collins has more.
Yes, while I'm stood here at Brompton Academy in Gillingham this morning, this is in fact a county-wide issue affecting grammar and non-selective schools across the county, as well as academies. KCC say things like population increases and inward migration are causing an increase in demand for places, which could mean that in 3 years' time we need around 60 new classes in secondary schools across the county. Now, things are a little bit more complex than just creating new spaces though, as current low numbers mean that several schools across the county remain vulnerable because that peak isn't due to happen until 2018, and it's something the council says is a massive issue and the perfect storm.
A campaign's been launched to halve the number of people accidentally dying around the UK's coastline over the next decade. It's as it's revealed 17 people lost their lives in Kent's waters over the last 5 years. Graham Stothard has more details.
It's the familiar tranquility that invites you in, and the unexpected wave that insists you stay.
The videos associated with these campaigns are by no means an easy watch, but that's the point. They're meant to stop people dying. Thankfully, the number of deaths across the southeast is quite low, 22 in the last year and 134 throughout the last 5. However, that's 134 families who have lost loved ones, and it's a number the RNLI want to halve. It's targeted mainly at men, as over 70% of those who die are male. Often it's people who didn't deliberately end up in the water, and even good swimmers are at risk.
I don't think that people have appreciation of how cold the waters are. Fast flowing rivers, cold water shock, and also obstacles under the water that may be a hazard as well.
With summer around the corner and a dip seeming like a reasonable way to cool down, it's clear with this campaign the lifeboats want people to think twice about whether it's safe to do so. This is Graham Stothard, KMTV in Gravesend.
In other news, Swale Borough Council may be forced to approve plans for a large housing estate on farmland in Sittingbourne because it failed to make a decision in time. The Planning Inspectorate will now look at the proposal for 580 homes off Swan Street Avenue and decide whether it should go ahead. And a man's life's been saved after he had a heart attack at the wheel of his car in Waterbury. Several members of staff from the Maidstone and Tunbridge Wells Hospital Trust happened to be in vehicles behind Peter Rabatz and started CPR straight away. And finally, last-minute preparations are being made ahead of Kent's largest countryside event, the County Show. Animals are being prepped for display like these by the young farmers at Newline Learning Academy in Maidstone. 80,000 visitors are expected to flock to the showground at Detling between Friday and Sunday. There's more local news on KMFM, and you can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook, but that's it from KMTV.